Welcome back to this channel, and in this episode today I'm gonna be walking you through the process of how you can professionally fix your polo shirt collar. This type of collar design can naturally be used for your vintage shirt, your corporate shirt, or any other shirt you want to make. Make sure you follow me step by step as I walk you through the process, and make sure you watch this video to the end. So if you are new to this channel, make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on your notification bell so that you get notified whenever I drop a new update. So the very first thing that I'm going to do right now is that I will be confirming my neckline measurement. So how am I going to do that? It's very simple. So I grab my pattern like this, then I'll start measuring from any angle. All right. So after measuring, so it is that measurement that I will use for my collar stand and construct my collar. So just see me as I measure this neckline. You can actually see that I'm not dragging the fabric. Just keep on placing your tip rule on the edge of the collar. Alright, I mean the neckline. Alright, so let me fold that part. Let me fold it very well. Let me fold it. Okay, so the measurement I got here is 18.5. Let me take that back and let me be sure of. Let me pin this place first. Let me pin it, then I'll take it back. Right, I will remeasure that. So from the first point to the end point. So if I got the same measurement, then I'm good to go. But if I don't get the same measurement as 18.5, I still need to measure. And if actually I have 18.5 2 times, 3 times, and I have other measurements 1 times, you know how it goes, right? So I'm gonna go for the one that has the highest probability. So now so I keep on measuring. Just make sure you're not dragging your fabric. Right, that's 18. The same thing, 18.5. So I'm going to go with 18.5. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to grab my fleece. So this is BFF that I will be using. So this BFF, it's actually lighter, in fact lighter than the nylon, I can say, than the nylon. So this is what I'll be using for my collar stand. I don't want my collar to be too thick and too I want it to be a kind of soft and not too thick, because if I use other fleece like that, it will be too thick and people will not be comfortable with it when they wear their outfit. All right, so I'll just fold it in 2 ways, 2 equal parts. So I'll just fold it just like this. And the next thing I'll be doing now is to start applying the measurement that I'll be using for my collar stand. And I'll start applying my measurements like this. So I will first of all make a straight line here. Let me just balance it. Okay, so I'll make my straight line, right? Make my straight line just like this. Then the measurement that I'm gonna be using now is 18.5. all right, so 18.5 divided by, I've folded my fleece into 2 now. So 18.5 divided by 2, that will actually give me 9/4. That is 9.25. So I'll be applying my 9.25 on this fleece right now. So 9.25. I don't know if the camera could pick the end point of the tape, but that is just 9.25. Then I'll mark it. Then the height that I'll be using 1 inch minus maybe like 2 centimeters. So it's not up to 1 inch because I don't want it to be too high. So I'll mark it on both sides. Then let me mark it here too. So right, so I'll just connect my lines together. All right, so I'll connect the line. So just mark my straight line there. Then connect here too. So the next thing that I'll be doing now is I'll curve the edge of my collar by 3/4. Then here I will measure 1/2 inch. Right, 1/2 inch. So from the first point to the second point, I'll make an arc. Make sure it is very covered as much as possible, as you can see. All right, so the next thing I'll be doing now is to cut it out. Right, so I will actually be doubling this fleece. all right, because this fleece, it's very light and most of the time it doesn't add up with the weight of our fabric. And I want my collar stand to be a little bit thick, but not too thick, all right, not too thick. That is the reason why I'm using this fleece, the reason why I'm using this BFF. So I'll just double this, all right. Let me trim off the straight line first. So I will make a, all right, let me just trim this off. Let me trim it. So all right, so I will make another pattern of this fleece. Let me just see, let me measure it and see if I actually arrive at the same measurement. It should be 18.5, as you can see, 18.5. all right, so I'll make the second pattern of this. Yes, I will just make, I'm just gonna place it on each other so that I can copy the same measurements and the same measurement. So just place it very well, make sure it is well balanced and very straight, right, as you can see. So I will just carefully, copy it. Make sure you are very careful, all right, make sure you are very careful. It doesn't feel as if I'm cutting anything, so it is very light, in fact, very, very light. So that is why I love using this, very, very light. So whenever I want to make polo shirt, this is exactly what I'm always using. So this is my collar top, and as you can see, the height of my collar top is 1/3, not up to 2 inches, 1/3. So the quarter from it would actually be going for my sewing allowance, but the exact measurement that I'm using is 1.5. all right, so I just put that quarter for sewing allowance. You're really going to understand when we start sewing. So what I'll be doing now, yeah, I'll be grabbing some piece of fabric that I'll be fleecing that on. This one doesn't, okay, let me use this. This is perfect. So I'll just try and arrange this and make it balance. I can even give it a good press so that all the rough edges will actually smooth. But here, I'm not gonna stress with that. So what I'm gonna be doing now is to, let me first confirm if the measurement is actually gonna be enough for me to use. Yeah, that's 9.5. It should be enough. Let me see. Okay, that's perfect. It's actually gonna be enough. So what I'll be doing now is let me mark my straight line here. Mark my straight line to the end. So I'll be using 2 inch. I'll be cutting 2 inches. All right, 2 inches. So I'll be fleecing my that BFF on one of it. Then the other part will actually be going for sewing to cover the collar up from the back. So I'll just measure 2 inches there. Alright, so just connect the line together, just like this. If you are new to this channel, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell. And if you watch this video to the very part, please subscribe and like this video. If you have any question whatsoever, so you can actually drop the question in the comment section, and I'll be there to reply those comments. All right, so I'll just cut that. All right, just cut that. Okay, and so this is what I'll be doing now. I will be fleecing, placing this fleece. I'll heat it up with the iron. I'm not sure if you can actually see that part very well because this thing is a transparent fleece. So just place your fleece on top in the middle of the fabric. All right, so make sure you have an excess of 1/2 inch below and 1/2 inch on top. So the 1/2 inch below, I will be folding it up. All right, so let me place the second one. Let me place the second one like this. Make sure you are placing it from the first edge like this. because this thing, it's always draggy, and maybe it's always elastic or something like this. I don't know. Most of the time, if you are not careful, the second one will actually be longer than the first one. So I'll first of all hit up the first edge, then I'll hit up the second edge. That's how I do it. All right, let me just do something here. I'm not sure if you are getting what I'm actually doing. So all right, so I'll make sure the second edge also align with each other, then I'll press it off. All right, I'll press both edge first, then I'll start from the middle. I'll hit up the middle. Let me just set. Let me make sure this part is very set. All right, so I'll hit that up. I'll hit up the middle. All right, carefully. So that's how I do it, because if I don't do it like that, somehow magically, it actually always longer than each other. Then I would, start all over. So I will just fold this over it like this. That's the remaining first half inch from the below. So I'll fold that up. Then the second half inch on top will actually be going for sewing allowance. All right, so let me just fold that and hit it up very well. All right, so I'm actually using that to to cool up the heat so that it can actually press very well. So carefully, just keep on folding. I'll keep on folding to the end. It's very simple, and if you are new to this channel, make sure you subscribe to this channel. All right, so, and if you watch this video to the end also, please give this video a thumb and let me know how you're feeling in the comment section. All right, so then I'll just fold the almost at the end. All right, so that's it. Let me just press it very well. Let me press it very well. All right. So as you can see that I give it a good press. All right, so let me just mark that edge so that we can actually see the end point, because that material is very transparent, and like I said, it doesn't add up to the weight of your fabric, and that is why I double it so that it can actually give me a little stitch. So I'll just notch the end point of this, and just notch the end point. Then on my collar as well, I'll do the same thing. All right, just notch it like that. So after that, we go to the sewing machine and start sewing them together. So this is where we start our sewing. So the very first thing you need to do is to grab, as you can see that I've notched all those areas that I'm going to be needing. So I'll be grabbing my other fabric that I don't fleece anything on top of it. All right, then my collar, as you can see, the right side is actually facing me, and my collar stand. As you can see that I place all the notch edges on each other. So I'll start my sewing from the middle, from the notch area. All right, so make sure you are having the same distance from the collar to the collar stand on each side. All right, if one actually longer than each other, you can actually reset it before you start your sewing. So for here, it actually balance, and as far as I make that notch on the three parts, so it's actually gonna be balanced. All right, so I'll just run my stitch to the end. So I'll make sure I follow the curve as best as I can. All right, make sure you follow the curve just like that. Then on the second part, then I start my sewing again. Make sure you are grabbing your fabric very well and it's not shaking. All right, make sure it's not shaking. So I'm actually running my stitch on the top of the collar stand, so that is the essence of the other half inch that remain on the collar stand. All right, so that is what I'm sewing now. All right, so I'll just follow that curve very well, so that it's actually gonna curve when we turn it from the outside, when you turn it to the outside. So I'll just trim off all those rough edges. Just trim off all the rough edges, then the curve area as well. I'll trim it off. So after trimming it off, so I'll go give it a good press, and we'll come back to the sewing machine and start sewing to our cloth. So right, let me just cut out the thread. Okay, then the curve area as well, the second curve. So don't cut the thread, make sure you are very careful while doing this. So I'll just turn it now and go and give it a little press. Right, as you can see that it's well balanced and neat. So I've given it a little press, and as you can see, all the curve, actually came out neat. And I actually go and repress that edge, as you can see, and let me reconfirm the measurement if it's actually what we actually need. That's 18.5. It's correct, right? So now I will trim off some excess parts. So I'll be leaving half inch. I'll be leaving quarter inch for my sewing allowance here. You can actually leave half inch, but that half inch can actually have an effect on your neckline measurement. So that is why I'm actually gonna be using half inch here. So I'm just gonna find the midpoint here, just trying to match the head together to find the midpoint. So I'll just notch. So after then I'll be grabbing my fabric, my cloth, this one, okay, this one, I mean extra large, okay, large, okay, it is large that I'll be using. So the first thing I'll be doing here is I will make sure I find the midpoint of my neckline. So I think I've notched that already. If you never do that, so you definitely need to do that, so that it's actually gonna help. So I will start my sewing from the left side of the neckline. All right, from the neckline. Okay, I've never notched it, so I'm sorry. So let me just notch that now. So right about now, I will be placing, my cloths. I'll start my sewing from the left side of the neckline. All right. So I'll place the edge of the collar stand and the edge of the collar on the edge of the neckline like this. Make sure it doesn't cross that boundary. Make sure it doesn't cross it. So the end point and the end point should actually be the same thing. They should definitely be rhyme before you're sewing. Once you feel their rhyme and it is not coming out more than each other and it's not going in than each other, so you are good to go with sewing. So I've sewn the first edge, then I'll do the same thing on the second edge. Right, make sure you're very careful when you're doing this. It can actually mess up your fabric and your clothes. All right, because this is the collar, and the very first thing people look out for in every outfit is how well is the collar is constructed. So this can actually have a diverse effect on your clothes, and once you are able to do it correctly, your clothes is definitely gonna be stand out. So I'll just start my sewing. So the essence of the notch that I make on the fabric is just to give me a guideline and to make sure if the collar actually distributes evenly. All right, I just keep on running my stitch to the end. So once I got that place, then I will turn this inside the collar. Then make sure you arrange it very well. Make sure it goes in very well. That sewing allowance, that the rough edge should actually go inside your collar. All right, just place it like this, hold it with the needle, then turn it and start sewing. It is very simple, and And if you want this video to this very part, make sure you give this video a thumb. And if you never subscribe to this channel, make sure you do, because I'll be giving you a lot of updates about your streetwear. So I'll just keep on running my stitch. So once I get to the middle, I'll be fixing my size tag. All right, this is my size tag. It is actually a large size polo. I'll fix my tag and I'll keep on running my stitch. All right, keep on running my stitch. All right, careful. Make sure you are stitching on top of the collar stand. So once I got to this area, the curve area, I need to be very careful. All right, so you need to stitch along the curve. All right, carefully. As you can see, you need to be very careful with this. It has to be a curve. All right, it has to be curved. It is important. So once you curve it like that, then you start running your stitch. So I'm actually stitching on the collar stand in between the joining of the collar and the collar stand. I'm actually stitching on the collar stand. All right, so I'm not stitching on the collar and I'm not stitching way far on the collar stand. I'm stitching on the joining. All right, on the joining of the collar stand and the collar. Make sure it is curved very well. You need to be careful. So we've actually got to the end. All right, so let me just give you a preview of what we've done so far. It is very professional. All right, so this is actually how our collar is going to be look like. So I'll just try and arrange this very well and go give it a little press and I'll show you the results. All right, just try and arrange that very well. As you can see that it is very professional. You can actually use this trick for your shirt, your copy shirt, your vintage shirt, and whatever shirt you want to make. So this is actually how it's gonna look like. So we're almost at the end, right? So I'll go give it a little press now. I'll go give it the press and we'll see how it goes. So here is the result of our collar. As you can see how it is neatly constructed. If you watch this video to this very part, man, congratulations to you. You've actually learned something great, man. When I say something great, this is actually a professional collar stand for collar and for polo shirt and whatever shirt you want to make. So as you can see, it is very neat, and I fixed my my size label and other stuff. And so this is the end, and this is actually great work. And thank you all for watching. If you're new to this channel, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so that you get notified whenever I drop a new update. So thank you all for watching. Until next time, peace out.